We're going to take a look at a match from the road to ADCC that happened over the weekend, and this is Nicky Ryan against Dante Leon. And I was really impressed by Nicky's wrestling, both from the standing position, and he also hit quite a few seated double legs, which is actually what we're going to take a look at. So let's take a look at the footage, and then we'll demonstrate some of the things that are going on. So we'll look at this in two different types of seated double leg that Nicky's doing. The first one is basically from an uninitiated position. And with the first one you'll see here, so kind of no grips, comes up into a seated double leg and then escapes the guillotine and gets the sweep. The second one is an attempt at the double leg, which Dante actually, he counters really well. And that's probably the closest Dante got towards passing Nicky. So you'll see here, they'll kind of go from an uninitiated position in a moment, and as Nicky sits up for that double leg, Dante's going to be taking an underhook and countering the double leg, and probably the best attempt he had at a pass throughout that match. Obviously that was unsuccessful. After that, we're going to analyze something different, which is from the headquarters position as we saw there, and twice he elevated Dante forward, and as Dante dropped his weight back, he was able to come forward for the double leg. So you see that first one there, and then we're going to see again, Nicky's going to, when Dante takes the headquarters position, Nicky's going to elevate Dante forward, and then as his weight drops back, he comes up into the double leg and is able to, well, in this last case, I think Dante scrambles out just at the end, but this is one that I think is a little bit different setup to what people would be used to seeing. So Nicky's playing guard, they've disengaged, and Dante begins to step his right leg across here. Okay, so often from here, he's probably looking for Nicky to turn in and potentially look for an underhook or start to set up an attack there. And what I found really interesting is that Nicky, when he's gone for his double leg, he's actually tilted to his left side and almost like he's falling to his left. Normally when you're going to do a double leg and come up for a double leg, so if you come forward a bit, if I'm going to come up for a double leg, normally I'm going to want my right leg here back to kind of drive. So it tends to be that if I can flick, my left leg back to drive, if I can tuck my right leg, have my left leg going back, that gives me a good diagonal drive to come forward into a seated double leg. But it seems with Nicky, he's kind of prioritized getting this left arm very deep. So as he's come in, he's actually fallen to his left and got this left arm deep. So he's actually gone onto his left hip here, okay? And so from here, it's actually really attached me well to that leg, right? From there, he's managed to get up to his knees and then start to finish the takedown, as we'll go over in a moment. So with his right arm, as Dante stepped across, Nicky's right arm, again, normally in a double leg, people will look for the knees generally, but Nicky's prioritized a grip on the hip, okay? So he's fallen in and reached reasonably high, and this is a theme you'll see throughout the double leg that he was doing from the seated position. He's tending to want to have one hand reasonably high and the other one to grip onto the knee, and then often look to connect his hands a little bit later, okay? So what's the advantage of the grip around the knee here and getting that deep? Well, it makes it harder for a couple of things to occur. It's a little harder for Mile to sprawl his leg out of this because of how, sprawl your right leg back, okay? Because of how deep my arm has gone, okay? If I'm just holding I just hold the knee like this and Mile begins to sprawl, I probably lose the leg or I start getting stretched out too much. So by getting this arm very deep, he's made that really tight, right? The other thing I want to be aware of is I don't want this knee going across my body here. So I can show you what could be bad. I go for a double leg, Mile takes his knee to the other side and he starts driving towards that, and it actually puts me back flat. By feeding that arm as deep as possible, I'm making it very difficult for this knee to come to the other side of my body here as I begin to build my base. So once he gets his grip, he then builds up to his knees. So that's kind of the second thing. By folding his feet back, he can start to then get up to his knees, and then he works to get the takedown. Dante, in this first instance, goes for a guillotine choke, and that gets defended by Nicky, and he gets the sweep. Okay, so in total, as Dante stepped to the side. Nicky's fallen to his left, reached deep with his arm here, managed to build his base up to his knees. From here, Dante's gone for the guillotine choke, and from here, Nicky was able to trip, post, and free his head from that quad pod position. So looking here, you'll see Dante's going to disengage and he's going to step across now, okay? And here you can see Nicky's falling to his left a little bit. His head's gone to his left, his right arm's gone all the way to the hip, and the left arm's going to reach deep around that right knee. Okay, so I think falling like that is just trying to get that arm as deep as possible. So he's folded his left leg, which is actually quite important. To be able to fall onto your left side, you need that leg folded, okay? So from here, you'll now see that hand poking through, how deep that grip is on the leg. And again, the other hand being quite high up on the hip and not reaching down to the knee, as you'd normally expect for something like a seated double leg. From there, Nicky's able to build his base, so you can see being folded over his left leg. He can then drive forward, and now he's up on both knees. Okay, from here, the guillotine comes in, he does the little trip, gets into that quad pod, and manages to free his head out of the guillotine. The second example of Nicky doing a seated double leg is from the uninitiated position. Demonstrates why I think it's a more risky move to go for from uninitiated, because Miele's hands are free. If he's ready, he might potentially take an underhook as well, and that's what Dante did. And it was the time where Dante actually almost had his best chance of getting a guard pass. So similar to before, Dante steps across. Nicky falls to the side to reach for the leg and the hip, but as he does that, I just want to turn this way a bit. As he does that, he gets an underhook, which now makes it very difficult for Nicky to actually attach to this leg. In addition to that, Dante takes this knee backwards and down to the ground. Okay, so if I'm trying to grip this and get it tight like happened in the previous one we demonstrated, that's going to be really hard to do here. Okay, not only that now, but there's a gap here for Dante to dive his knee across for a cross knee through, which is what he goes for. So as Dante steps across, Nicky looks for his grip, but he loses the underhook. The knee drops to the mat, and then Dante drives across, which means Nicky is in a reasonably late stage retention position. Okay, he manages to, by keeping this inside leg tight, he manages to stop Dante from being able to kick off. So you want to try and can you attach to my arm? Dante starts attacking the arm here, and Nicky manages, if you go to kick off my leg, and he manages to get his hooks back and recover. Let's now take a look at the video. So in this second attempt at sitting forward, and in actual reality, this one actually came before the other one. So he did the unsuccessful attempt and then did the successful attempt second, but I've shown that in reverse, okay, just so you're aware of that. So in this one, Dante's going to disengage, and then as Nicky sits on, he's going to go onto his left hip again. So we're ready. There we go. Starts falling onto his left. He's going to reach to the hip, and he's going to reach around the leg. So you can see he's reached for that leg, but this time, it's hard to see here, but you'll see when they change the angle, Dante has got the underhook, okay? And he's also dropped that knee down. So Nicky really doesn't have that knee pulled in close to the chest like he had in that previous example, all right? Dante's then going to use this right leg to drive off and power his knee across the hip and actually get a decent position to try to finish, okay? So from here, now he's got the arm isolated, the knee's in the middle. He's got two options. He can try and attack the arm or try to attack the knee cut. I think he focuses a little more on the arm lock, and Nicky's hook here just saves him while he pummels in that butterfly hook and manages to recover. So the next one we're looking at is now from the headquarters position. We're going to see two examples from here. And this was more interesting, well, not more interesting, but a little different to what you would normally see. You see a lot more from that uninitiated position, but to see a double leg, it doesn't seem like a position where you could really hit a seated double leg from. Okay, so kind of look at this, and I think Nicky is probably trying to mix a few attacks together, and Dante's defending the leg entanglements, and that's allowing the double leg to happen. And I think that's really important. Okay, so basically from headquarters, he's managed to bring Dante's weight forward. So it brings him into this kind of float passing position, but it's actually a pretty good position to start trying to get a leg entanglement as well. So I believe the first one, he's framing the shoulder. It's actually hard to see from the camera angle, but he's framing up here. He kicks Dante forward. And one of the first things he does is this foot that's on the outside, he pummels it over the top like this, okay? So if everything's going well, you can just attach to the leg here. So if we go back to headquarters, basically Miele's blocked my leg, okay? I can't, if I try to pull that leg, his foot here is making it trapped underneath and behind my leg. But if I bump him forward and I pummel my foot through, I can attach to the leg. On the other side to that, I can also potentially, by pummeling my left foot through, I can potentially enter saddle if Miele stays forward and floats his weight out this side. So if he stays forward, I pummel my leg, okay? I can start shooting my leg through and look to enter the saddle here. And I think that's actually the initial thing. It looks like what Nicky was trying to do. He bumps forward, he pummels his leg, he starts gripping this far leg. So if you try and shin flick off this, if he was able to hold this leg, he'd be able to pull that right through and get the saddle position. So Dante was probably quite aware that Nicky's going to want to get to leg entanglements. So he's actually tried to keep his weight back. And that's where the double leg fits in. And if you're practicing this, I think it's really important that you first go for these leg entanglements, because otherwise the double leg's not going to work. If you try to just go, if you're here and you try to just like come up for a double leg, you're probably going to get jammed and they're going to take underhooks, so it'll all be really bad. You have to do it as they drop back, okay? So we knock forward, I pummel the leg, and Dante's, as he's gone to reach for this leg, Dante's really dropped back, kept his leg out of the way, and it's allowed Nicky to start to come up here. You can see I'm starting to get into this seated forward position. I've got access to the legs, and I can connect my hands. So he bumps Dante forward, pummels his leg in, starts reaching, and Dante moves back. He's able to come up, connect his hands, and build his base here, and then follow through, continuing with the double leg. Let's now take a look at the video, and you can see Dante here is in the headquarters position. Nicky looks like he's just kind of parrying this near arm, and it looks like his right arm here, it looks like it's framing the far shoulder. Oh no, he's actually reaching to the head, we should say. Okay, he's grabbing the head here, but he's gonna kick Dante forward, okay? So he's gonna kick up, right? And look, immediately as he kicks, that leg's pummeling to the inside. So if it's something you wanted to work, be ready to pummel that leg quite early, right? Once that leg starts to pummel, as I said, there's a few options that you can see are available here while Dante's floating forward like that. While he's forward, Nicky could pummel and try to attach to this leg, single leg X. I believe because Dante shifts his weight out this side, that makes the saddle available. And you can see Nicky reaches for that leg. So with the saddle entry, he'd be looking to grab that knee, take the leg out and underneath and behind. Okay, so it's like this left leg of his shooting behind this leg here, right? But Dante, you can see this grip doesn't stick. He kind of like sprawls out and keeps his weight back. But just with that momentum, Nicky's able to come up now into that double leg position. From here, he's managed to connect his hands early, builds his base up to his knees, and then from here, he's able to get good posture, hips underneath, and drive through for the takedown. In the second time that Nicky uses this headquarters position to hunt down the seated double leg, you see he has to do a little bit of hand fighting to get there. Okay, so looking at this headquarters position, it's generally a favorable position for the person on top. They're looking to underhook, post on the mat, come across to knee cuts or smash us, or there's a few options they've got to pass, right? If you can take this arm out of the equation, which Nicky is basically trying to do, he looks for this like arm drag grip here. Now the knee cut's not a problem. So if I can get this, you'll see Nicky, he's kind of reaching to the armpit and the wrist, and he's pulling this arm across. If Miele goes for a knee cut now, it's actually good. Okay, he's giving me his back. So to counter this, Dante starts to posture up and pull away. Okay, so now it's like, obviously I can't get a good grip on that arm drag grip. What this does is it opens up ability for Nicky to grab this heel, and then he can start to use like a frame on the armpit, pull and kick to start to bring Dante forward. Okay, so why wouldn't you do this immediately? If I reach for this now, he gets a good underhook, okay? And this could be bad. But by going for this arm drag grip first, it's forcing Dante to posture up to free that, and now he can grip without any immediate underhook, and then framing this makes, if Miele's trying to get an underhook again now, okay, it's kind of blocked, right? Then he can kick forward and initiate this sequence. From here, pulling the knee to the chest, kicking up, you'll see now he immediately pummels that leg, okay? If we go back. So, again, if Miele's leg just stayed there, it's a little different actually in this scenario because my arm's in the way, okay? You see my arm gets in the way of my leg, so I have to let go of the leg and pummel, and then hopefully collect the leg again, get to single leg X. But Dante is pretty quick to realize this, and as soon as Nicky lets go and pummels, he flicks his foot out, okay? And he goes to reach it, but he misses, okay? But just like before, as he takes his weight away to avoid the leg entanglement, it gives room to come up for the double leg with that momentum. So they're here, they're here, pummels his leg, reaches for the leg, misses, and he can come forward. Similar to the last one, connecting his hands reasonably high on the hips means he's going to stay tight to Dante's hips as he builds his base up and can start to take him down. So recap of that, from this headquarters position, Nicky's working towards this arm drag grip. As Dante starts to pull away, then he starts reaching to the heel, frames that armpit, kicks him forward, and then pummels this foot where he can start to come up, connect his hands, and get the double leg takedown. This last one we're going to look at is just actually, if you look here, it's just as points are about to start, Nicky goes straight in and gets this attack to go ahead. So again, they're in the headquarters position. Nicky's looking for that arm drag grip. He's trying to strip Dante's from being able to get the underhook. There we go. And you're going to see Dante's going to have to posture up. Okay, as he postures up, he's now got access to that heel, and he's going to now use his right arm to prevent Dante coming back. When you grab that heel, you're vulnerable to an underhook, so his right arm's going to come up and block that underhook from occurring. Okay. From here, he kicks with his right leg, so he's going to give a big kick. And then here, you can see he wants to pummel this leg, but his arm's in the way. Okay, so his arm's going to block his leg pummeling, so he's going to have to let go for a moment so he can pummel his leg. Okay, but you can see as he let go, Dante straight away has taken that leg away. We'll watch that once more because it's very quick. But as he reaches, he lets go. He's trying to grab that leg, but Dante moves that leg out the way. Okay, but similar to before, with this momentum now, Dante's going to have to drop his weight back. Otherwise, if he just stays hovering over the top, he's going to be in danger of a leg entanglement still. So he takes his weight away, and Nicky's going to come up into that double leg again. Okay. Now he does connect his hands, it's something I didn't talk about too much, but he does go for that deep grip again first. So it looks like he can't quite connect his hands immediately, and instead now, he's going to go deep on that leg. Okay, you can see that arm's come back through on that knee level grip here. Unfortunately, his leg was actually a little bit caught here. I don't think he deliberately wanted that because it's actually stopping him getting up. That may be where he actually got an injury in this match. It could be from here, or it could be, I think he said it was during a shot, so it might have even been later because he continued to fight on from the standing position after this. But from here, he's now able to actually connect his hands and then build his base up to standing. And Dante actually scrambles out of this, and they have a bit of a wrestling match after that. That's it for analysing Nicky's double leg from guard. And I found it quite interesting, just some of the slight differences that we've seen to what I'd say is a regular style people would use, where he's getting for that deep leg grip, going for the hip. And of course, using that headquarters position. I've seen a lot of people use that position to enter leg entanglements, like single X from there, but to use it to what looks like he's adding that as part of his double leg setup, I thought was really interesting.